Today I want to take a closer look at Raise Up Your Bat from Deltarune Chapter 3, the song that plays during the rhythm game segment in Tenna's game show. The more and more I've thought about this track, the more I've realized just how much it's got going on. So we're going to take a look at the in-universe background behind this song, the lyrics, and of course, the composition and usage of certain motifs. Because while at first this might just seem like another throwaway gag song, when you zoom out to the greater context of the Deltarune soundtrack, there are a lot of implications we can draw from this. So, let's get right into it. Starting with the context for this track, Tenna explains that when Chris was younger, December Holiday would come over and switch the TV from cartoons to a wild music video channel Toriel did not approve of, seemingly a reference to like MTV, right? Obviously, December being outright mentioned is a pretty big deal, and we'll put a pin in that for later. Des would play her guitar and sing along to the songs on the channel, and everyone thought she was cool. The first thing that I noticed researching for this video is that, as far as I'm aware, it's never confirmed whether Raise Up Your Bat was one of the songs Des rocked out to, implying that this isn't an actual song that exists in the light world. It just seems to be a dark world manifestation of the types of songs Des listened to. This is about all the context the game gives us for this song though, so let's just jump into the song itself and how it's composed. Raise Up Your Bat is pretty much entirely arranged with default sounding MIDI instruments, mainly from the SGM sound font, which, to explain it succinctly, is a widely used collection of MIDI instrument samples. This is kinda just an inside joke for composers, that this epic rock song is just made with a bunch of janky sounding SGM instruments, but there is an interesting connection we can draw from this a little bit later. Raise Up Your Bat opens with electric guitar in a swing rhythm. Swing refers to that uneven, bouncy feeling of the music, often used in jazz, where pairs of notes are played in a long-short pattern. The swing rhythm here is one of the song's main characteristics, alongside the prominent guitar and drum instruments. Let's take a listen to the opening part of the song, and rather than paying attention to the melody, let's focus on the use of rhythm guitar and the drums in the background. Does this sound familiar to you? The rhythm of the guitar and the drums matches up exactly with D.OGG, the ominous Weird Route exclusive looping track from Deltarune Chapter 2. Played in its original speed, you can better hear the similarity here. You might remember this fact from before the new chapters came out, but D.OGG's rhythm and structure matches up with another Toby Fox song, the Mary CD composed for Omori. It's a little bit too much of a coincidence that this song is very much linked to the holidays. But this isn't where the connections end. With the release of Chapter 4, we now have a new track that plays in Noelle's house titled Gingerbread House. It seems that this swing rhythm pattern is very much directly tied to the holidays, and this is a reminder to you that as much as we like to think of motifs as melodies, this term can really be applied to any sort of pattern in music, including rhythmic patterns. In Across the Spider-Verse, for example, the soundtrack utilizes drum patterns as leitmotifs for both Miles and Gwen. But the rhythm isn't the only thing connecting Raise Up Your Bat and D.OGG. Both tracks are prominently characterized by their use of electric guitar and heavy drums. What really solidifies this connection to me, however, is the subtle instrumentation in the background of D.OGG. If you listen closely, there's this ominously dissonant organ being played in the background, which the Deltarune sample sheet suggests is the organ 3 instrument from the SGM sound font. If you listen closely to the background of Raise Up Your Bat, not only is there also an organ, but it seems to be the exact same sound font as the one in D.OGG, making the reference all the more clear. We haven't even gotten into the lyrics yet, or the part where it, actually quotes the Holiday's melodic motif, but I think it's really interesting that at its core, Raise Up Your Bat is essentially a less dissonant version of D.OGG arranged into a full rock song. Considering that this song primarily connects to December in particular, I think there's a pretty decent chance that the D in D.OGG stands for December, especially when you consider that the name of Carol's theme is just C. Anyways, now that we've established that this song is primarily a December song, let's actually talk about the lyrics. What are the lore implications of the line, "and the mom is kiss goodnight"? Looking at the lyrics here, the main thing that stands out to me is that this really is just kind of an aggressive version of Don't Forget. The way the lyrics are structured in the song's main sections is very similar to Don't Forget. When the light is running low and the shadows start to grow, leading to Don't Forget I'm With You in the Dark, it's kind of the same as when the demon heart is crying and the blood is gushing bright, leading to Raise Up Your Bat for the burning fight. I'm no lyricist, so I don't know if there's a word to describe this, but the sentence structure here is similar, setting up the situation with when the, and then ending with a call to action. Don't Forget, or Raise Up Your Bat, both of which happen to be the titles of their respective songs. I don't know if this is just how Toby Fox writes lyrics or if there's some deeper connection, but this isn't the only reference to Don't Forget in this song, so we'll get to that later. Looking at the actual content of these lyrics, they're very much written to be overly edgy, that's the entire bit of this song. But unfortunately, there's probably some depth here, and even if there isn't, I get paid to overanalyze Toby Fox's works, so here we go. Our opening phrase refers to a demon, the opposite of an angel. Raise up your bat for a burning fight. It's almost like the opposite of Noelle, who is referred to as an angel and obviously uses ice magic. And while Noelle is a sweet and innocent character outside of the weird route, the song actively promotes engaging in fights and knocking people dead. Outside of that, the phrase, "when your hope is slowly dying and your future's lost its rights," alludes to the idea of the prophecy, that our main characters don't really have control over their futures, but only when your hope is dying, because as Gerson tells us in Chapter 4, we carry a powerful force called hope, a white pen with which we might use to potentially change our fate. It's a pretty solid connection being drawn here. Then we get to the bridge of this song, which is mainly comprised of the Lost Girl motif, further tying this song to December. This is also the part of the song that directly references Don't Forget, with the line, "I'm with you in the dark," and is also the only part of the song that Rousey feels comfortable singing properly. In this bridge, the singer encourages us to follow them into the dark, promising that they'll be with us in the dark, letting our soul guide us as its power shines the way. We see directly in Chapter 4 that the soul in Chris is literally able to light the way in the darkness, so there's that connection. Two lines from this section stick out to me. First off, "with your heart as my mark." The singer is referring to your soul as their mark, but in the next line states that the soul will shine you the way. Things are getting kind of confusing. The way I'm making sense of this is that we're following the singer into the dark, and our heart is a mark given to us by the singer meant to lead us the way. The way to where, you might ask? Based on the lyrics, it's shining the way to the singer we are following into the dark. Hence why they refer to the heart as their mark. and that would also explain why they say, "I'm with you in the dark." They're with us in the form of the soul that they gave us to help us find them. Let me try to get this straight. We're trying to follow the singer into the dark. We don't know the path to the singer, but the singer is metaphorically with us because they gave us a mark that will guide us to them, the mark being our soul. The second part that intrigues me is that our soul will guide us the way, quote, through the waves. Toby Fox uses water as a metaphor for darkness in Deltarune. Obviously, we have the dark fountains, but in more subtle ways, the sound that plays when you fall into the Chapter 1 fountain is called ocean.ogg. Jevil tells us that the roaring is bubbling up from the depths. The texture that makes up the dark fountains and the prophecies in the Gonnermaker sequence with Gaster is called image depths and is made up of a real image of ocean waves. Many people believe that the depths may be the source of darkness and are potentially where Gaster and or Death are hiding or trapped in. So the singer telling us that our path will take us through the waves seems to imply that we will be wading through the darkness, potentially all the way into the depths. And to stop beating around the bush, yeah, maybe it's 4 years of confirmation bias, but it seems like the singer of this song could be December. Chris is trying to find her, their soul is guiding them, and it's gonna take them through the waves into the depths. There are a lot of places we could take this theory. For one, you could argue that if Chris is trying to find Death, then Death probably isn't the knight, but you could also argue that we are following the knight into the darkness, and assuming the knight is on the phone with us, they seem to be aware of Chris's soul situation, and based on the song, could potentially be the source of the soul. This theory also works out if we assume that Carol is the knight, though. Like I mentioned, the knight seems to need Chris's soul, and if that soul was given to them by Death as a means of finding her in the darkness, then it would make sense why Chris and Carol even bother keeping us around. This, of course, raises the question of how the heck Death found the player's soul to give to Chris. But if Death is in the depths, which is the same place where Gaster's making vessels and stuff, maybe she's the one who sabotaged the Gonnermaker sequence and sent our soul into Chris. If we want to get really meta and tie it back to the theme of discovering video game secrets, as I discussed in my Gaster video a while ago, maybe Death knows that the player is searching for Gaster, a search which will inevitably take us to the depths. By shoving our soul into Chris's body, this would help us lead Chris, and the knight by association, to Death's location, trapped deep within a place darker than dark. To be honest, when starting this video, I mainly aimed to document a bunch of facts about Raise Up Your Bat, and then turn it over to you to take what you've learned and form your own conclusions. I went a little off the rails and coming up with my own speculation as to what the lyrics and all actually mean, but who knows. More prevalent than the question of how Death gets the player's soul is the question of why Death is singing all of this to us in a rock song post-mortem. Maybe Raise Up Your Bat isn't that deep at all. But as you and I have both seen in this video, there are a lot of suspicious details strewn about in here. So let me know what you make of all of this in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe, because I post new Deltarune content every single week. If you'd like to support the channel directly, consider joining the Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can get access to all of my videos early. Thank you for watching till the end, and I'll see you all next week.